All right, we'll get started here in a second. Let's get the stream up. That's not my live. There it is. There it is. All right. What's going on? What's going on, Gage? What's cracking? All right. All right. Work this morning? Nice. I'm guessing that means you are not working tonight. Tired of cold in New England? Yeah. Yeah, it's been a little cold in New England. That's for sure. Here, let's take a look. Yeah. Yeah, you've been running a steady 3 to 9 degrees below average the entire month of December. Yeah. Not the best. Not the best. Oh, let me put some of these actually out here. Here's our snow. Has your area seen above average or below average? Let me know. Have you seen above average or below average snow? Tufts, hello, sir. Enjoying the warm weather? You're not in the Northeast then. Hello, Happy New Year. What's going on? Let's get snow going next week in Western PA so we don't have to go back to work. That's possible. Our model runs yesterday were much nicer to everyone than today. Although, the model runs today still show all the snow. They just push it back a few days. You can see on the Euro, big snowstorm through the Midwest towards the 9th. Now, here's the problem. This was our chance for a nor'easter. If this trough, which we still don't know, this is too far out. This trough digs in through the Pacific Northwest Rockies. Yeah, it's going to tilt up through the plains. We want this bad boy to move in out here. And I talked about in my video today, there are runs of the Euro that still bring this trough in and up the coast. So this particular control run doesn't. But then you do have what could be another storm system right here, right? If you get another storm system, you still have an opportunity here for snow up the coast. This would be January 10th into January 11th. And then you have this opportunity right here as well, which is pretty interesting at the end of this run too. So you keep seeing these signs because we know we're going to be setting up in a negative NAO. So we know there has to be some opportunities here. This is extremely interesting to me too. Take a look at this, what's happening here. January 4th into January 5th. This is a nor'easter, right? This is how this is where the storm, this is the storm track. If this thing shifts in, I don't know how many miles this is, a few hundred miles, that's obviously coastal snow. This thing could end up over the next couple days shifting even farther out to sea, farther away from the coast. It could also shift a little bit closer in. So who knows? Maybe you get a model trend there. If you want some hope to hold on to for a nor'easter in the next 5 days, that's a tilting trough. It's tilting a little too far off the coast, though. This isn't going to do anything for anyone on the coast. We need this a little bit farther out to the west. But you do see, obviously, around the 5th and 6th, another little clipper system potentially into the coast. This would be likely a big event here. Big snowstorm. We'd probably get some ice somewhere in here. Severe weather through here. So anyways, we can start going over everything. Any snow in Maryland January? Well, probably. Probably. There's a little chance for snow right there on January 1st. Not a ton, but you're probably going to see some snowfall on January 1st in Maryland. Chance here as well. I've been talking about this. You got this precipitation, this little piece of energy moving up to meet in with our polar jet here around January 3rd, January 4th. You know, this could always end up being a little bit more snow up here than what these models are showing, because you've got a lot of precipitation running into freezing air right there around January 4th, 5th. Another clipper system out towards the coast here. What happens with this? Does this move farther to the north? Does it move farther to the south? Another opportunity there, but then you get a little bit of a warm-up. That would probably ruin any of that snow anyway, so what you want is this time period here. January 9th, out through January 14th, second week of January, where you've got that big NAO blocking. Let's go take a look what the NAO is doing there. Let's go to North America. What's the NAO doing out here? There it is. There's that block. Now I don't think the models are handling this correctly, because this is such a major block up here, and it's just throwing the system out to sea with that block there. I'm interested to see. The problem is this ridging out west. The problem is this right here is what's throwing our January 4th nor'easter off the coast. That's what's throwing it off the coast. If this were to be... What's going on, Brandon? If this little ridge were to be right here, this storm system would be entering out here. Suddenly, big nor'easter, maybe even a southern snowstorm on your hands. That ridging is over the plains. And that's what we were just talking about when I showed you this. And you see this nice big storm system negatively tilting. What is this? 987, 967. Down to 979 millibar. Major blizzard system right here, but it's right off the coast, right? It's off the coast of the mid-Atlantic in New England. And that's partially, well, it's entirely because of this ridge. The storm's not able to dig through the plains, pull up like this, stall boundary. So, you know, if the models aren't handling this ridge correctly, they could be, maybe not. I'd say tomorrow, I'd say tonight with the 00Z, if they still see this ridging over the plains, we're probably screwed, because once you get towards the under the 96-hour mark, the models handle troughing and ridging pretty well. So I think we would really need to see this ridge kind of collapse in the 00Z tonight, collapse down here instead of being up here. And if we were to see that, then you have an opportunity for this storm to run up the coast here and make everyone happy. But that's what we have to see in the 00Z tonight, or else that's not going to happen. And then obviously as we get out towards, again, the 10th, 11th, 12th, here's another little setup here to try and get something through the plains, the Midwest, South Coast, East Coast. So, but with this system, we're not really seeing we're not seeing as much blocking up over Greenland. So this system might run out the coast instead of stalling, might run out to sea too quickly. Could Iowa get snow instead of rain soon? Yeah, I mean we can see what the Europeans doing here. Giving Iowa a chance for a big snowstorm here. We don't know where this trough's going to dig in from, so you shouldn't look at this and say that's where the storm's going to move in. This storm could move like this. The storm could move like this, but there's a big. We've been seeing this. This would really be beginning on January 9th, and we've been seeing this time frame consistently putting together a big storm. We've been seeing this time frame consistently throwing a lot of Arctic air down into the States. I can't tell you where the system's going to ride, though. I can't tell you where it's going to move exactly yet. In my video today, I did talk about our ensembles, though. And this is important to look at. This is important to look at. Let's go here. I want you to watch this. Pretty warm right now, right? Now watch what starts to happen right here around the 4th and 5th. You guys see anything? Anything here that's standing out on the ensembles as we get into January 5th? Where's cold and storminess starting to show up around January 5th? And I promise you these ensembles are good through January 5th. They know what's going to happen. Yeah, right here. This is going to set the stage for something mid-January. And the models know what's going to happen 6 days out on a big scale. So something like this is going to happen 6 days out. And this is going to have to move somewhere. It's going to have to move through here. It's going to have to move through here. It's going to have to move through here. It's coming. Where does it enter the states? That decides who gets a big mega snowstorm. Is it the plains? Is it the Ohio Valley, the South, and the East Coast? But this right here is high confidence. Do you see these dark blues? This is a high confidence forecast right here on the ensembles. So we move forward. Now we get less confidence on the ensemble as we move forward, but that's just simply because. Oh, why is my mic? I need to turn up my mic. Sorry, YouTube. Was my mic really, really quiet? Check, check. Very impossible to get a real, very big snowstorm at the Jersey Shore since we're in a very good spot for missing them. New Jersey's actually running ahead of their average snow right now. I'm going to keep talking about this, but I want to show you something. I know you guys may not feel like it, but take a look at the mid-Atlantic coast. You're running average to slightly, most of you are running slightly above your average snowfall. Remember, the mid-Atlantic, you guys see by far your most snow in January and February. By far, you guys see your most snow in January and February. So this December was actually a lot nicer to you guys than a lot of people think, or a lot of people remember. And then you look at, man, the Midwest. I know all your snow's melted, but you did have a really nice couple shots of snow there. Okay, but this is what I need to talk about. High confidence January 5th. Now watch where these low pressures go on the ensembles. This is all the possible scenarios, right? There's that cold air digging. Now let's look at what happens. Okay, here we go. Now you start to see a couple different things here. Some models want to bring the storm through like this. Some models want to dig the storm all the way out down to the south. Some models want to bring in the system like this, right? This is actually 986 millibar. This would be a pretty tilted storm too. It would be sped up. But you can see the spread of low pressures here. This is kind of all at the same time. Where does it go? You can see the confidence is much higher when we push back here. Here's our systems. Look at this clumping of low pressures. Look at this clumping of storm systems in here. But then you move forward, the confidence goes down, and suddenly they're all over the place. Where does the storm move through down here? But what we do see is you see a lot of green beginning to take over the states. Look at this. Look at where we are now. Look at where we are now. Look at where we are when this energy moves in. This is a lot of Arctic air. This is a storm system's going to happen. Someone's going to get big snow. Who's it going to be? But this is our polar jet diving south. You move forward a little bit more, and we see it happening again out towards the end of the run. You see, does the system get all the way down into the Gulf? Maybe. Move up the coast? Maybe. Is this once again a storm for the upper Midwest? Maybe. So what we do see, though, on the ensembles is confidence in that second week into the third week of January. A lot of cold air and energy moving into the plains or out towards the east. So that's what's happening. GFS. I'm going to get to all your guys' questions now. GFS. Let's go to our ensemble. Here is the GFS ensemble over the next about 2 weeks. You can see where it has the highest confidence in snow, north of that line. But Obviously, there's some ensembles that put snow down here, or we wouldn't have the light dark gray showing up. Some models, not as high a confidence there. Take a look at the European ensembles. Not a lot of confidence out here. Well, not too bad, but really none in the southeast. Look at the Canadian ensemble. Closer to the GFS. We get that line a little bit farther south. So, anyways, let's talk. I think something really... If these models are wrong about this ridge being this far out west on January 4th, this thing dips. That's a huge setup. We're running out of time for that to happen, unfortunately, for you guys along the coast. Can you look at January 3rd to 4th for Virginia? Sneaky snow. Yeah, I've been talking about this. This has been showing no snow, then snow the next model, no snow, then snow the next model. I've been talking about this for like 4 days. But someone's going to get a little snow. I think if on the high end, we get 4 inches somewhere, central to northern Virginia. On the low end, we might just get a dusting to an inch across central to northern Virginia. But someone's going to get something there, I think. Yeehaw, ride him, cowboy. I feel like I haven't done that in a long time, Marissa. Appreciate you, Marissa. Justy, what's going on? KJ, NTX. The weather keeps changing, as well as those models that can't really handle these storms very well. Yeah, you know, this winter started off, well, the models handled December well. The models, the ensembles, the Teleconnections handled December well. They're having a much harder time with January. So... Is a jet stream that keeps... It is a jet stream that keeps very much... Yeah, but that's what... The jet stream is very variable in a La Nina year. It's pretty typical. A little bit easier to predict, I think, in an El Nino year. Going to Cleveland on 9th, 10th, 11th of January. Will I see snow? No one knows. No one knows. Now, right now, the models try to put snow out there. Out towards Cleveland around that time frame, but yeah, you can't say where it's going to snow 10 days out. Models aren't that good. Troughing, there wants to be a lot of cold air and some snow moving through the Midwest if you just take the Euro operational run at its word, but, you know. So, I'd say possibly. You know, if you're seeing it on the Euro, possibly. Can't have too high a confidence, so. I want to see some snow in North Carolina. Yeah, I want you guys to see some snow in North Carolina, too. I got family down there. They want to see snow. Second week of January. Second and the third week of January, your opportunity starts to get a little bit better. I want to show you guys something crazy. I don't know if it's still going to show it, but let me show you the European weeklies. I wonder if it's still going to show it. Oh, sorry. No. Let me show you Teleconnections. Oh, wow. You go back to the 00Z and this Arctic oscillation was like this. And now look at it. Talk about a flip on the European weeklies. But you guys see what's happening here? Look at January 12th. Basically through the 28th. Look at the last 3 weeks of January. Look at this Arctic oscillation. If you guys don't know what this means, this is very, very, very cold air. You get a Arctic oscillation this cold, January 20th, the coldest day of the year. That's kind of what happened last year when you got snow in the south. You had a pretty big push of cold air around the coldest day of the year on average for the northern hemisphere. What's our NAO doing? Wow. Okay. Whoa. January 12th to January, I would say 22nd. You've got a very negative Arctic oscillation and a very negative NAO on the latest European weeklies. This isn't out in BS time either. It's a little bit, you know, we'll believe this side of the chart a tiny bit more than the the far side of the chart. This would be something huge, big push of Arctic air down into the States with blocking to get this cold air deep into the south around the coldest day of the year. Like I said, on average for the northern hemisphere, you want a southern snowstorm. You want that negative NAO, negative AO around that time. What's our Pacific North American oscillation doing there? Neutral to negative, not too bad, but this could ruin your eastern snow. You probably want this a little bit higher. All right, well, Yeah, second to fourth week of January still looking very cold. Some good opportunities for some storms. Quite a switch from the last time I just talked about that. I just talked about the teleconnections in my video I posted today. Pittsburgh snow tonight. The Weather Channel is saying 3 to 5 inches. Expected amounts for Pittsburgh. The National Weather Service, this is the most updated, is saying 2 to 3 inches for Pittsburgh. Now, surrounding areas could get a little bit more, but this is directly from the National Weather Service as of just a little bit ago. 2 to 3 inches. High end. If you get lucky, you get some good snow banding through Pittsburgh. Let's look at the high end. There you go. Maybe closer to 4 to 6 inches if you get lucky with some banding. 4 to 6 inches in the Pittsburgh. The weather is very complicated to forecast. Connor, you do a great job. They're trying to figure out what's going on. It is complicated. I appreciate that, though. It is complicated. I'm calling it, Connor. End of January, beginning of February. 3 inches of snow in Georgia. Screenshot it. All right, we're going to screenshot that. All right, I screenshotted it. Let me screenshot my whole screen. There you go. All right, it's on my computer. That's not a bad time frame, I think, with what's going on here. We're probably going to get, well, depending on when we get all this cold, because it looks like there's a big push of cold coming maybe in the second, third week of January. And then your cold typically needs at least 7 to 10 days to reset, to recycle, right? Think about it like this. You get all this cold air building up here. Eventually, here you go. All this cold air building up. Eventually, it's gonna drive into the States. You can see, and the latest Euro has it so warm. I don't think it's gonna be this warm, but eventually it's gonna drive down into the States. Let's see how the GFS sees it. You're gonna release that cold air into the States. GFS has a little bit colder, and then you're gonna run out of cold air to tap into. Okay, then you get a little bit of a thaw. You let your cold pooling happen again. Sorry, you can't see what I'm looking at. There's all that cold air. Eventually, it releases down into the States, right? And then we need to kind of reload our cold air again up north. So if it is very, very cold, second through the fourth week of January, we might need a 7 to 10 day time frame where we get that cold pooling back, and then we drive back some cold air down into the south. February 3rd it could happen. Big snowstorm, third, fourth week of January. I mean, Teleconnections and Ensembles like that time frame for a big snowstorm in the States. And if you do get a big snowstorm third, fourth week of January, it gives you a better shot for snow in the south, just because that's the coldest time of the year. You need to be around the coldest time of the year a lot of times to try to get snow into the south. B, what's going on? Happy New Year's Eve, everyone. Happy New Year's Eve. I do have to tell everyone, this is the last day I'll be streaming this year. This is the last day I'll be streaming this year, guys. I'm sorry. I will be streaming again next year, though. I will be streaming again next year. Promise. We can forgive you. Womp womp. Is Ohio getting snow tonight? National Weather Service thinks so. Two to 3 inches in here. Maybe a little bit more up in the northeast. Maybe closer 4 to 8 up here, right? 4 to 8 up here. Maybe 2 to 3 in here. And then you have out here, you get a little bit of a chance for 1 to 2 in this region. We'll say 2 to 4 in here. And then up there, we'll say 4 to 8. You could get real high end up there. We will miss you. Rip the nor'easter. Well, there's still multiple opportunities for a nor'easter. That hasn't changed. Our time frame flipped around a little bit. We can take a look at the euro. I will say this, though. And I was just talking about this. That's a nor'easter right there. It's right. There's a nor'easter right there, and obviously this is our coast. So it's right off the coast. Partly because this ridging is extending too far out to the east. You move forward in time. Do we have another opportunity? We do. We don't know where this trough's going to enter the states right now. It's entering too far out towards the northern Rockies. This would dig it up through the upper Midwest. But you've got some storm systems. You've got this cold air diving south with some moisture running along this boundary as well. So possible time frame again here, January 10th through the 12th. And then you move out here and you can see the models again trying to reload and push something up the coast here. So I don't really care about seeing a nor'easter on the models past 4 or 5 days out because no one knows exactly where this trough is going to enter here or here. But the setup's still there. You can't hold on to a control run. That's why I showed everyone the ensembles earlier. That's why this is important to look at. Let's go back to the European ensemble. Right here. Look at all of our different outcomes here. Storm system, storm system, storm system, storm system, storm system, all at the same time. The latest operational run, I think, is going off of this storm system right there, around the 8th and 9th. You push out a little bit further. Oh, look at this. More opportunities. Storm system, storm system, storm system, storm system. You know which one you guys would want for a nor'easter? You want that run to be correct, right? 980 low, right off the coast. That's a huge nor'easter right there. January 11th and the 12th. Models don't know exactly where this thing's going to enter, but one thing we do see is the confidence in this, 5th and 6th. This isn't too far out. Dark blues, high confidence that this cold air is heading for the States second week of January. Your confidence starts to go down, but notice where we are now in the States. Notice where these models want us to be as we get into the second week of January. Trying to flatten out that ridge. Trying to drive cold air into the south. So we want some more blocking up there over Greenland, though. Don't hold on to a control run. I hope big snowstorms for January for New York City. What do you think? Yeah, I mean, that's what I've been talking about the opportunities there. Listen, we're not seeing what we haven't seen really all year that the West has been experiencing, and you guys know this. You see this ridge out west? The West has been experiencing. Okay, let me show you something here, guys. Here's the month of December. Here's the month of December. All right, here's the month of December. Running below average, right? Everyone up here. Upper Midwest, Northern Plains, Midwest, portions of the Southeast, Mid-Atlantic, Northeast. Kind of saw this happening. Look at the West. You know what we haven't had happen this winter? This. This has not happened to the East. You guys want all this red in the East? This has not happened. And moving forward, moving ahead here, I don't think this is going to happen in January either. This would, if I were to see a pattern that started to set up nonstop ridging in the East, which it does happen some winters, I would not be telling you guys there's opportunities for snow in the East. There's opportunities for snow in the South. There's opportunities for a nor'easter. We don't see this. We didn't see this setting up for December. It didn't happen. I mean, for the East, we saw this. We see, I don't think we're going to be this cold in the East in January, but I don't think we're going to be running well above average. I don't think we're going to be sitting under a ridge in January. I think we're going to have a lot of opportunities from the 2nd through the 4th week of January to get storms out here. Because we don't see a big ridge setting up in the East over January. This is our snow for December. A lot of us above average. Look at the West. I don't see this happening to the East in January. I don't see it. I don't know if we'll get this much snow in these states in January, but most of us out East, at least in areas that usually see snow by now, or a lot of us are running above average. So I don't think January is going to be as snowy as December. Well, we'll see. We'll see. The second half of January looks like it could be pretty snowy. But yeah, I don't see a big ridge setting up over the east in December or in January, which is good because that's your coldest day of the year or coldest month of the year. So opportunities will be there for you guys. The blue snow, yes. Who commented on my video today? Someone commented on my video. Who commented? Someone commented on my video and said, why don't we get any snow in Ohio? We haven't seen any snow. It's all rain. And I'm looking at this. This is, what does this mean, guys? The entire state of Ohio, basically, almost the entire state, is running above their average snowfall. Their 100-year average snowfall. Actually, I don't think it's 100-year on this. We're, 60-year average snowfall? Might be 60-year average snowfall. Oh, this one's, okay. No, this is only our 20-year average snowfall. Still good. Running above average. So, but you haven't seen a ton of snow. You haven't seen a ton of snowstorms, but you've seen a couple big ones. Yeah, you guys have been doing pretty good Northeast Ohio. You're in a huge snowstorm right now. Buffalo's getting big snow. Big snow, heavy snow about to move into Rochester. You can see the darker blues here. You can see the darker blues here. That's heavy, heavy snow. Some heavy snow right in here. Some nice snow moving to Grand Rapids, Lansing, into Detroit. A little bit of snow might try to creep into Indianapolis. A decent band is moving into Pittsburgh. You guys might have a little bit of mixing going on right now, though. Morgan's getting her snow. Let's go, Morgan. Happy New Year's, James. This could end up being Chicago. This could end up being a big snowstorm for Chicago. Like I said, we don't know what's going to happen with the system on the 9th and 10th. We do have pretty high confidence in a lot of cold air plunging in to the states, though, second and third week of January. So, Chicago outlook for December, January. Chicago's probably still going to run below average temperatures for January. Snow-wise, I think January could be pretty kind, snow-wise, to Chicago. I wouldn't be surprised. Any possible snow chances moving into New Jersey for January? I mean, yeah. Got an opportunity right here. We'll see if that gives any snow to New Jersey. If you got an opportunity here, these are light snow opportunities. I think this is an opportunity out here. We need this. We need this. Our polar jet to collapse a little bit more. This is going to be another opportunity for snow in the Mid-Atlantic. You're going to have another opportunity out here. You can see another opportunity out here. Cold air diving in. It's not like, again, we're not seeing any sort of ridging out east. We're not seeing like we're going to have a dome of heat out east, and we're not going to get snowstorms. We have snowstorms in the forecast for the eastern U.S. We don't really know how these things are going to play out. And the models aren't completely agreeing on how these systems are entering the states, if they're entering up here, if they're entering here. I need the ensembles to come together and decide, because it's really hard to tell if we're going to end up with a bunch of snow here. It's really hard to tell right now. I'm just being honest. If we're going to end up with a bunch of snow here through the middle of January, or if we're going to end up with a bunch of snow here through the middle of January. It's really difficult to tell. But I don't think we're going to have any sort of ridging, and I don't think we're going to be stuck under a heat dome out here for January. We don't see it happening. We're getting a foot a day, 4-day storm. Where are you, Susie? This would be great for the Rockies, by the way. They really need this snow for the Central Rockies. Barrie, Ontario, Canada. Oh, yeah, you guys are getting some good snow up there right now. Whew. I wonder what your average is. You're probably running well above average too, right? Probably. We normally get, yeah, yep. We normally get most of our big snowstorms in January, so that sucks. Listen, I gotta go because I got people coming over for New Year's Eve. But listen, look at the European weeklies here, guys. Look at our Arctic oscillation for the States in January. If this is even close to right, I mean, our mean is running well below the average. And look at the freaking operational. And before we actually saw this a little bit farther out to the east, or a little bit farther out to the right here, end of January. January could surprise us. Look at our NAO. All negative through January. Look at our AO. All negative through January. What's interesting is I don't see, when we look at our future reflectivity, I don't see this showing up. But this is it. I don't see this showing up. And I think it's because it's just outside. I think it's because it really is just outside. You go to the end of these runs here, and you start to see what's happening. Is this the time frame where the real cold actually starts? The European weeklies and GFS Extended are calling for such a cold January and are calling for such a stormy January out east, like a lot of winter storm opportunities out east. You're not seeing it in the operational runs when you look at the reflectivity here. But I trust the Teleconnections more than I trust a single control run. You guys know I like my Teleconnections. I tell you all the time. Because that's how I do my outlooks that tend to do pretty well. Dublista, what is going on? Yeah, see everyone next year. All right, guys. Everyone have a fantastic New Year's Eve. Don't drink and drive. Have a good time. Be safe. I'll see all of you next year. And what else? You're all amazing. Mods, I love you. If you want to join the greatest weather community on planet Earth, in the Milky Way galaxy, join my Discord. Links in the description of all my YouTube videos and YouTube lives. It's free. And hopefully next year is the year I can do this full time. Please. Please. Everyone have an awesome, awesome night. Go crazy. Not too crazy. Just crazy enough. All right? Seriously. For me. Okay? See you guys. See you next year. Later.